Today, I'm giving you 3 fatal mistakes that most consumers make when disputing Midland, Portfolio Recovery, and Calvary. Now, just so you know, this is not limited to just these companies, okay? It's any debt buyer. And we're going to go over mistake number 1, which is a method, mistake number 2, which is a reason, and mistake number 3, which is an approach, all right? So, how to avoid these mistakes and what to do instead. Now, if you go to my channel, you can use a little tiny icon to search portfolio recovery or debt buyer, and you're going to find a bunch of other videos. So if you are experiencing this problem, I would really recommend going and checking that out. All right, so here is mistake number 1, which is using the validation of debt method. And this doesn't work because, first of all, it's a direct approach to the debt buyer, which you don't want to do, and it wastes precious dispute time on a method that virtually never results in a deletion, right? Not only that, but it uses a method that's reserved for a different type of collection, like medical, utility, apartment, insurance, gym, and this letter will normally result in a response from them with some BS case law rejection, okay? And you also have to remember that they're not collecting on behalf of a company. So they have a financial stake, even if it is a small one, and that they're going to press you really hard for the money. And this sometimes includes lawsuit if it's within the statute of limitation, all right? This can set you back so far, like months and sometimes years, all depending on how you're disputing. Now, another thing that you don't want to do is send a 609. Don't even get me started on that one. Don't even. All right, so mistake number 2 is using the "you don't have a contract with me" type of reason, okay? So using the dispute reason, "I have no contract with you," is a mistake, and here's the reason why. This reason will almost never remove the account. Your contract or agreement was with the original creditor or company for credit, money, services, whatever, right? And their agreement is with the collection agency or debt buyer who will attempt to collect the debt, and you already agreed to it. You already agreed when you signed up with the original company to pay the collector in the event that you did not pay the original creditor, okay? So keep this in mind. You are not going to have a contract with them. Like, that's not how the debt collection industry works, all right? Now, this dispute reason is normally used when you know that the account doesn't belong to you. So, if that is the case, then maybe you can use it. I mean, that's still a stretch, okay? Now, by using this dispute reason, you are limiting yourself to like just 5% of available dispute reasons. And each time you use this as your defense, your chances of removal decrease rapidly, okay? And if only you had used the right reasons, maybe you would have seen movement on your file. Now, that brings us to mistake number 3. All right, direct dispute. The worst approach to remove a debt buyer collection is to reach out directly to them to ask for deletions, and here's why. Imagine just for a moment that this account is really yours, right? It's also within the statute of limitations for them to take you to court, and it has a balance of more than $1,000. And you're also asking for documentation that they don't currently have, but will need to furnish in the discovery process of a lawsuit, all right? So now that they're paying attention to you, and now that they're checking out how much money you owe, the balance, right? And they've already obtained the documentation to prove ownership, you've placed all the cards in their hand. Now, the only way to keep it out of court is to pay for it, when all you wanted to do is just get the damn thing removed from your credit report, all right? Now, another thing is that all 3 of these mistakes take away something you can never get back. Because you can get money back, you can, rebuild a house that burns down, but you can't get back your time, all right? So stop wasting time. So the solution for the method is to do a credit bureau only dispute using factual arguments backed by your credit report. This is the factual-based dispute strategy. The reason solution, we have a four reasons and next step. It's all coming directly from your credit report. You hear me say this all the time. Here are a couple examples. So a collection is late by default and therefore cannot report a late payment. And again, it's past due by default and therefore cannot report a past due. Now, an inaccuracy, because both of those are violations, would be a limit reporting and a high balance. And then your next step would be to switch over to factual disputes and violations. All right. Now, your all-in-one approach is really, really simple. So you're going to dispute the violations, then dispute the inaccuracies, and then you're going to prove your errors, and then you're going to make complaints. Now, notice at no time did I mention that you're going to reach out directly to the collector, right? Because it doesn't belong in this. Now, which way are you disputing? Are you doing it the wrong way? When you send the wrong letters to the wrong companies, use laws that have nothing to do with what you're disputing, or when you ask for things that don't exist, all you end up doing is giving someone else leverage, and we don't want to do that. The longer you dispute, the harder it is to get your results, and the longer you dispute, the more likely it is that you're going to run out of options and receive a frivolous response. We don't want that. You see, the way that I've found to remove virtually all debt buyer accounts is to write a letter directly to the credit bureaus using consumer authentic language and by taking key factors from the actual credit report itself. You see, I don't just preach it, I practice it. I've been able to remove about 95% of all debt buyer accounts in less than 8 rounds from all 3 bureaus, okay? Now, these are percentages of the amount of time that normally you would see a permanent result. So 75% using a template, 62% using online disputes, and 96% using factual disputes. Because with a template, I mean, normally you can get a result, but it's not virtually all the time. I don't really like absolutes. So 25% of the time you're going to get a permanent result, but 75% of the time you're actually going to see that it is deleted and then put back on because it's not the right way to dispute. If it were as simple as everybody sending in the same freaking letter, then this would be a totally different process, guys. This would be a totally different process. And they're deleted and then verified afterward by the furnisher and then added back on. And then when you dispute online, don't even get me started on that one. You're giving up your rights under sections 623 and 611, and you get a fast deletion, and then it gets put right back on. Now, with factual disputes, because you're using the information that they're reporting, the collectors, the creditors, the courts, it's normally, when you receive it, a permanent deletion. All right, so that is it for today. We went over the 3 fatal mistakes that most consumers make when disputing companies like Portfolio Recovery, Midland, and Calvary. Not only do we go over these 3 mistakes, but I gave you the solutions on how to do this. All right, so your next step would be understanding how to do factual-based disputes so that you can use these violations and inaccuracies to get your results. Now, to do that, I have over 500 videos now, right here on YouTube for free. But if you're looking for other resources, you can go to vault.my740.com to access the subscriber hub, which is totally free, as well as other resources on that link. All right. Now, if this is just something you don't want to deal with, that's totally cool as well. You can schedule a call with me one-to-one to see if I can take over your file and do the credit sweep for you. If you're interested in that, go to my740.com, choose a date and a time, and I will see if I can help. All right, guys, that is it for today. I will see you again tomorrow for another daily video. I hope you have a great one. Make sure to like this video, share it with